I know I think Marvel has dropped they need to pull something off big with the second season of Loki. Because if they don't, I think that the whole Marvel extended universe thing, their shows are going to be dead. The Nick Fury one, the last one, Secret Wars, such a disappointment to me. I don't know if you saw it or anything, but don't get me wrong. Samuel Jackson's a great actor. He did great. Look, I went into it with no expectations. The story just was dumb. 6 episodes. And the whole story was about an insolent boy who grew up and got mad at Nick, so decided to destroy the world and got beat up by someone who gained all the powers of the Avengers. So now they have a scroll that has it's the strongest creature in the universe. Where are they going to go with that? It's not horrible. It is watchable, but it takes a while to get nowhere. So if you want to skip it, I wouldn't blame you at all. I don't recommend it. And just the potential it could have had, because the Secret Wars story is actually really kind of cool. But there's no way they could have done it without bringing in their A-list actors. So instead of doing the actual Secret Wars, they just did a spy thriller with Nick Fury and created the Super Skrull. It's just, I don't even know why they bothered with it. So the next Marvel series has got Loki, I think, is the next Marvel series. It's got to be something. Look at my straw. It's got to be something really good. I've seen the trailers. Trailers look great. But if they don't pull off something big with it, I think people are going to be less interested. Wolf says, I think the MCU is dying slowly. Yeah, it is. And here's the problem. It's not because of burnout. Like, here's the thing. People say, oh, people are just tired of superhero movies. No, that's not the thing. It's such a fucking ridiculous statement to make to me. It's not about the superhero stories. It's about bad writing. It's about bad stories. People are sick of bad superhero movies. Because, I mean, it's like people saying, oh, the horror genre is dying. Oh, the drama genre is dying. Oh, the science fiction genre is dying. This shit is serialized movies and series has been around since the fucking beginning of movies. We still make cowboy movies, but we don't make a lot of them because the writing really got bad. And people were pumping out cowboy movies left and right without giving a shit about the writing. And then when the writing improved and people had a higher expectation of what a cowboy movie should be, you started seeing less cowboy movies. You know why? Because companies weren't willing to risk money on bad cowboy movies anymore. Because now they're moving on to the next genre. So those things don't die. They just are bad. What people get sick of is bad shit. They're tired of shitty superhero movies. Right, exactly. That's what they're tired of. They're tired of shitty superhero movies. And the problem is, look, here's the problem. The problem with these superhero movies is the same problem that existed in the comic book industry for a long time, which was that in the beginning of comic books, they really wrote to the lowest common denominator. They wrote something simple and basic so that everybody could understand. The good guy fought the bad guy who had this evil plot and maybe was trying to fool the good guy, but the good guy figures out the plan and overcomes adversity, maybe gets trapped, overcomes adversity, and then wins the day. That's how your older comics, when comics first started coming out, that's how they were. And that's how these Marvel movies and shows are today. They need to advance. Once in the 70s, you had people better writers and people coming around writing these comics. What you started to see was these comics started taking on things like racism. They started taking on bigotry. They started taking on drugs. They started taking on these deeper subjects of the human condition and of morality. Sure, there was the comics that were shoot 'em up, bang 'em up, slash 'em, have fun. Those existed because those are fun. But they also started going into more serious kind of a tone. And if Marvel doesn't do that, they are going to lose. If they don't advance in the same way that comic books advance, they're not going to have a history. They're not going to be around for much longer. Because people, just like with cowboy movies, they want something more. They want advancement. Just like with sci-fi movies, where sci-fi in the 80s and the 70s and 80s were big, and you started seeing all these shitty sci-fi movies coming out. What happened? George Lucas showed us what a sci-fi movie could really be. Then after that, you started seeing a lot of people trying to copy it and failing it, and companies saying, we're losing money on these. So they were more particular about the scripts that they bought. That's what happens with every genre once it goes through its heyday. It's secular. Spielberg did okay with E.T. Yeah, right. Exactly. Once these directors started showing what science fiction could really be, that's when studios started becoming more selective. They had a thing where they made all these stupid sci-fi movies and they made money off of it, but not the big studios were more selective. That's what needs to happen with Marvel or they're going to die. Simple as that. They need to advance their scripts. But yeah, that's my take on the whole Marvel thing. They're gonna die if they don't change. If they don't start appealing to more of a sophisticated audience, at least some manner. They can still have their kiddie Marvel shows and what have you, but they need to start appealing to a more sophisticated audience, just like every genre does. Definitely Marvel raised the stake on superhero movies, because let's be honest, what was the only good superhero movie before this? Blade, before Iron Man, right? Batman, that kind of thing. It's been being raised, but at some point Marvel hit a plateau, and they're not willing to risk more advanced storylines. Like, they should have leaned hard into the Netflix Marvel series. Like, those were so much better. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, meh. I mean, from a writing standpoint, Jessica Jones is probably the best Marvel series that they've ever put out. And that was how long ago? And they've abandoned that because they're trying to be Disney kid friendly, which I hope once they buy out Hulu will change. We'll see.